Inside the Deck is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, sellers of Magic the Gathering and many other card and board games. GatheringMagic.com, your #1 resource on Magic the Gathering, strategy, and culture.
My name is Court. I'm playing modern blue-white Merfolk. I was pretty sold on Merfolk from pretty early testing, and it was putting up pretty good numbers for us internally. And we started making some little changes that ended up making a pretty big difference in the game, like Disrupting Shoal and things like that. The disruption package is 10 counter spells. Most of the consideration was given to mana cost, which is why there's 3 Spell Pierce and 2 Disrupting Shoals main. And Mana Leak and Remand are kind of too good to not play. The Remand drawing a card is very powerful effect. So it was really get there just barely sort of thing. A lot of times we're going to just overwhelm with Lords, where we get Merrow Reejerey in play a Lord, untap a Vial, play another Lord, and attack for 20 in a single turn. Island Walk usually. So it's a swarming with big 5/5s and 6/6s and things like that. We play more Lords than lands, so we're playing 5 Lords, 4 of each. Lord of Atlantis and Master of the Pearl Trident kind of need no explanation. They're the best ones out there. After that, we have Merrow Reejerey, which has some very good tapping and untapping effects. Merfolk Sovereign doesn't get a lot of credit, but its effect is very powerful. Making one guy unblockable has been very powerful. Coralhelm Commander is one of the weaker ones. It's a lot of mana to get up to be a Lord, but the fact that he flies has been very relevant against quite a few decks. So those are the 5 Lords that we play, and I wouldn't play less than 20 Lords in the Merfolk deck. In this particular Merfolk deck, the Aether Vial is primarily mana acceleration. It allows us to cheat Lords into play for less mana than we should, but primarily, we're really obvious. We're not playing any tricks. If it's on 2, you know that there's a Lord coming into play. If it's on 3, you know there's a Lord coming into play. So it's really just to rush out as many Lords as we can get out as fast as we can. In my sideboard for Blue-White Merfolk and Modern, I have some Grafdigger's Cages, some Spreading Seas, some Path to Exile, a couple Vapor Snags, and some Pithing Needles. Most of these choices were done to be as versatile as we could possibly make them. So rather than making a narrow choice, we chose something that could hit a lot of different decks. Pithing Needles were, there to catch a lot of different decks. Grafdigger's Cage, the same thing. Spreading Seas were there mostly for Tron, but as well as decks that were a little greedy with their mana, and decks that had a lot of blockers that could slow us down that didn't play islands. Path to Exile was sort of a catch-all against a lot of creature decks, and same with the Vapor Snag. It was just really to clear blockers and get through those last points of damage. In Modern, there's primarily, what I've seen is 2 Merfolk decks, a blue-white one and a blue-red one, the blue-red one being more popular. What we found was that Burn gives you reach, which is good, but it doesn't kill some of the problem creatures like Restoration Angel, a couple other things like that, where Path is going to kill and let your creatures take over and finish them off, rather than trying to burn to the head. I think the main deck is pretty solid. The choice between red and white as the splash color is kind of up in debate. We spent hours trying to figure out the sideboard, and that's really what affects the deck splash choice color. I might go red, I might go white. That one's kind of tough, but I think that the general idea of the deck is pretty solid. I wouldn't change very much. It had pretty good matchups kind of across the board. Things like Jund and Nyapod were all pretty good matchups for us. I think it's a consistent deck. It is 20 of the same effective creature being played in the deck, and then counter spells to back it up. So you have a lot of similar hands do basically the same thing. I mean, that's the good side of it, and it's also the bad side. You're never going to catch somebody off guard with a surprise trick. So it's a pretty good deck, I thought.